Alright, let's keep it going. Nice. Nice. I'm saying nice, like first you heard the stuff behind you, and then you check to see if you could help. You're kind of focusing this guy for a second, but then you don't stick to it because, you know, you have to check behind you. So what happened? I mean, she basically played in a vulnerable spot. She was also getting cooked in a vulnerable spot, and then unfortunately, she should have like slowed her momentum down as she came through the portal, and then she could have dropped behind. But it's not like she knew exactly where people were or anything. So now we're playing with that. It's good though. We're on 99. So now we got a chance to take the aim, and they just killed both the healers. Oops. Let's see what happened. Yeah, you were already like completely dead by that time. So actually, but yeah, you can come down here, and then you can grab the health. Or you could drop here and go here, which is a little riskier because he might come here and like shoot you. But if you drop down and immediately go this way, you know, then he would have to commit to dropping all the way down here. It's a little safer. But that's one option. But yeah, there's too much. Gonna have to play it to the end. I saw that we did have a chance to pressure the rocket a long time ago, where you were kind of like right here looking at the rocket. Potentially that would have been good to go with, because you make the rocket worry, and then he starts healing himself when he shoots the gun, and then also maybe others would turn and focus you, which could lead to your death. But that might have been a recipe to get them off your healers, but not really. I don't know. It's tough. I mean, we would have to watch it back and see, you know, why was she over here? Because obviously that makes you vulnerable to the back spot. But I think they were just vulnerable in general. Looks like they found a nice rhythm of diving the healers. So it's late enough that we should 100% use the portal. Because, yeah, it's going to be 8. It's almost 80 when he comes out. So we can push. But the thing about pushing right now is, unless we have a good plan to get through, basically this team has a massive advantage, because if they can simply slow you down and block you and make your life difficult, all that is first of all wasting time. And then let's say somebody tries to force and go through, and then they're like, boom, they're just an easy kill because they're staggered. You know what I mean? So you have such an advantage that, you know, I think it's pretty much always worth it to use the portal early, like 80%, because we can, you know, try to take the point or whatever, and then pray that this guy's the first guy to die when this is on 99%, and then he uses the portal, and then the whole team comes back, and then it's like an extra long fight. Like, that's sort of betting on too many things to go just right. So yeah, I'd be typing in the chat, let's portal, man. Get everybody back to the spawn door. Because that would have been like our top chance. But they didn't really stop us, but they do have a strong, you know, they got a penny situation. So we're going in. We can see both the DPS right now. It's not going that well. So one thing we're doing is we're going right here in front of this over and over again. But both of these are LOS healers. So we should be playing, abusing LOS as much as possible. Line of sight, I'm talking about. Like, once we start going right here, it's like game over. Like, this is just because you're forcing them to play right here, so they don't get to be up here anymore. And then that leaves them open to all of this, you know what I mean? But otherwise, it's kind of hard for them to hit them from over here, you know what I mean? But as soon as they have to play right here, it's game over. So we backed up, got the heals, avoided that. That was a good play, I think. But that, yeah, but it was like the whole thing was super risky, right? Again, I mean, it's a tough situation. Oh, this is cool. I'd rather just use the portal and come in like that. But yeah, basically, so you're using diamond form, you're doing an attack, then you're using your shield. So you have a good chance to stay alive. But the whole thing was super risky because you have like no chance of getting heals the whole time. And also it's an opportunity for the team, like when one tank is like doing this, so basically your life is at risk, but their own attacking you is not their only option. They can also take the opportunity to go around you and attack somebody else. So I thought that was a bit risky. I mean, inevitably this is the last fight, right? So we actually aren't even in a rush. We are basically we need to get in an advantageous position. It's not like I have to go right now, otherwise the game is over. We don't, because other times, like, I don't know, on like Convoy or something like that, it's like if we have to push the cart right now, so we have to just make a play. I don't know, maybe that's a bad example. I can't really think about it. Or like sometimes you have to push, you have to stop the cart, so you just have to go in. There's no other thing you can do. In this situation, you have to be in the circle. You have to avoid the overtime from going all the way down. But yeah, you want to wait for you want to get an advantageous position, and this was not an advantageous position at all. And another thing is ultimate charge. So I think how we really want to play this is because we're at a disadvantage. Even like I'm talking about using the portal, but using the portal is also a disadvantage. And or we're still going to be expecting a disadvantage because if we look at the scoreboard, we had no ultimates, right? We have no ultimates to break in. We have no ultimates to jump up to get to play once we get out of the portal, right? So that's what we're waiting for. And I'll be specifically looking, because like seeing anybody's ultimate is good information for me. And I can also keep track of the other team. Of course, as a high level player, you're going to be doing that. So if we can, if we take up the challenge to just think about everybody's ultimate, it's honestly not that big of a deal. But, we want to be taking the opportunity to think about it rather than not thinking about it. It's like, oh, yeah, he's going to have his ultimate. Oh, yeah, she's going to have her ultimate. You know what I mean? And, like, knowing that this thing's going to come is really valuable. But specifically just keeping it to our team, if we can get this 94% charge, you know what I mean? That was basically our opportunity. So I'm trying to take a little damage, and get the ult charge up. So I can go a little further, and I can say, there's no, like, we're not going to make some kind of hero play where we go into the other team and we choke slam them and we start building the momentum, you know what I mean? But, like, sometimes something like that works out if a whole team fight happens. But we actually have the information that we have no ultimates. So we have no choice but to wait for ultimates. And even if we didn't think of that, we still want to be thinking, okay, let's wait. I'm wanting to see what my team does. Maybe somebody's going to pull a flank. Maybe somebody's going to do something. I can't really play make, and I especially can't play make by going, removing line of sight with my healers. And also, like, nobody else has really attacking the other team yet. People are probably trying to figure out, okay, where do we want to position? How do we want to pull this? This guy hasn't really done anything yet either, So we can be patient here and just kind of let the game develop. Obviously, it's a risk, too, because they can use an ultimate and kill you somehow and whatever. Wait, and I want to see, too. So she used that. Okay, so I didn't pay attention to it, but yeah. So that happened way over there. So we lost one person, which is too bad. but also our other tank is over there. Okay, so I kind of didn't see that, so it's not a perfect, or not a really good representation of what happened. But we dodged that. I do think this was the better way to go, because here we're sort of, I don't know, I mean, we don't want to put ourselves in the line of fire, but yeah, look how low that is. So if we went this way, thinking maybe I'll attack them, then we realize, oh, they're pulling this thing back, I'm gonna hit this thing on it, and then that could have been over. Then boom, these two sit right there, probably Hella dies, and then we start doing a fight. And we want to go after the squishies because their health is much more likely to go down into a critical zone, forcing actions out of them. Yeah, because like even if he focused and got a bunch of headshots, she would only go like low health, put her shield up, and then, you know, get healed up by the team by then. And then yeah, that happened. So it was a rough position to be in. Like, it's very unlikely to take that win just because we had no ultimates and they had 3, including 2 healing ultimates. So, but I think we definitely saw some stuff that if we did have some better odds, you know, there was better ways to play that. All right, switch to Dino. We almost have ultimate. Oh yeah, and this is the other benefit though, is like we come in with ultimate. I mean, so did they because they didn't use anything, but sometimes that can be a big advantage. When we lose the first one, we know that we have ultimates. That's like basically always better to get this first. So in this situation, I don't really know what to say. I mean, a lot of times it's a good sign that we get in first, but they're actually playing it a bit differently since they have the penny. So they're trying to hold this high ground spot, kind of a choke point, kind of a what do you call that? Like a, I don't know what you call that. I don't know. It's called, it's like a pivot. What is it, like a L? I don't know, a T, stuff like that. So they're kind of holding this point down, and then they'll probably try to do a push. So they have a little bit of a different strategy rather than just immediately fighting for the middle. You know what I mean? So again, we're pushing really far there. It's just like we're not playing. I mean, I don't know everything about ammo and stuff like that, but I don't know. You know, we have our beam. We're trying to build up charge on our beam, and then we want to play make when we see opportunities. That got bad pretty fast, and most likely inspired by seeing that you went kind of close there. And we could have put damage down on this, you know, when we saw that. Like, not focus it, but like as we're leaving, we do that. In this situation, it doesn't really matter, but in other situations, yeah, it's like DPS will be trying to hit it and stuff, so we want to, that's the only thing like worth damaging, right? So there we made some interesting like positioning ideas. You know, are we going here? Are we going here? Are we going here? So yeah, not really sure. I was feeling like, you know, they had an healing ultimate advantage there. So yeah, we'll be able to come back in with the healing ultimate. So this is another example of like things went kind of okay. They used both their healing ultimates, given the advantage. Then they got the point. They got the point first, which is like better. But we are gonna have a strong healing ultimate to come back in with. And then yeah, we have yours as well. So that's like when we look at the scoreboard, it's like we have only these. In this case, we also have these, which are super high, so we'll be able to use these as well. This is basically like the sign of like, I use this next fight. And we could have used it last fight. I don't know. I mean, I don't really know what to say. Like, maybe, but I think it would have been a waste just because they used Luna and everything like that. So yeah.